everybody. This is Dr. Forth, and we're continuing our series on detoxification. Today, we're going to actually talk about the role of the gut in natural detoxification process. Now, the gut actually has a membrane lining it that helps to protect us from invading pathogens or toxic materials. We could really think of anything that's actually inside the gut as still being outside the body because it isn't until it goes through that membrane that it can come in contact with our blood. The gut is very important in disease prevention. We have quite a few immune cells actually present in the gut. And there's a paper that I've linked the citation below that actually talks about the role of immunity and particularly the different bacteria that are found lining the gut. Now, the particular composition of our bacteria in the gut, which is known as our microbiome, that can be determined by a variety of factors. Our genetics, lifestyle factors, exposure to pollutants, and also the use of antibiotics. So these bacteria can be helpful bacteria that help to protect us from infection, help to make important nutrients that we can use, and also help to break down different metabolites in the gut. Or they can be less than helpful characters that actually cause disease and take up space and use nutrients that we actually need to have. So the decisions of what kind of foods that you eat and different lifestyle factors, exposure to pollutants and so forth, can actually determine the kind of bacteria that you have growing in the gut. The bacteria can metabolize things that we don't have enzymes to break down. So, for example, if you like to eat beans and legumes, there's a particular type of sugar in there called fructooligosaccharides, and we don't have enzymes to break those down. Ordinarily, efficient, proper cooking removes most of those sugars. But if some of them get through and they pass into the gut, the bacteria have enzymes that can metabolize those sugars. But when they do so, they produce some gases, which you may have noticed if you eat a lot of beans and maybe didn't cook them as well as you should. But that's just an example of the bacteria working to help us out, although we might not enjoy that particular example so very much. Chemical signals from materials in the gut help to determine what kind of bacteria are going to be growing. So if we provide really good, healthy food with plenty of fiber and nutrients, then we're going to favor the growth of healthy, useful bacteria. If we provide a lot of processed food with weird foreign materials and toxins, then the useful bacteria will not get the proper chemical signals, and some of the less helpful bacteria species will start growing in the gut. Sometimes there's really significant, severe infections that can happen when the bacteria get out of balance. And in that case, sometimes we could take a transplant of bacteria from a healthy individual and implant it into the sick individual to help them out. They do that a lot with people who have C. diff type infections, which is very serious gut infection causing lots of problems. So this membrane lining the gut, the cells are very tightly connected and they have a mucus layer to protect them. And that helps to prevent materials from getting through that shouldn't. But we do want to absorb as many nutrients as we can. So the lining of the gut has lots and lots of folds. In fact, if we were to open up the small intestine in the dissection lab, we're going to see that it looks almost like velvet texture because there are so many little wrinkles. And that gives more surface area to maximize the absorption of our nutrients. The gut also helps to process and metabolize hormones, like, for example, estrogen or testosterone. So some of the bacteria can actually break these down and remove them. Others can help to reprocess and reabsorb those hormones. So the gut and its communications with the brain are a very important part of having balanced hormone levels. This is an ongoing area of research. I've also linked a research paper about that down in the description. Fiber is very important for proper gut function for several reasons. First of all, the fiber, this is actually plant products that cannot be broken down by the enzymes in our gut. So it just kind of passes through the gut. And because the fiber has lots of little spaces in it, it can trap materials like excess sugars. This is why it's always better to eat whole fruits rather than just juice. Juice can cause a big sugar spike, but the whole fruit, the juice, and the fiber together prevent rapid absorption of that sugar. So the fiber helps to trap materials. It also traps toxins produced by bacteria or metabolic byproducts that are traveling through the gut. So fiber is really good for that. It also helps to keep things moving. So the fiber improves motility of the gut. There are all kinds of supplements for fiber, capsules, powder, but really the very best way to get fiber is from fruits and vegetables. And you should have at least twice as many vegetables as fruits. If you're going to eat fruit, make sure you stick to the lower sugared things like berries. So that's not going to cause such a dramatic spike in your blood sugar. But these vegetables and fruits, those plant materials actually go into the gut and help with our digestive process. So fiber is really very important. If you take the fiber as a supplement, usually on the label, there'll be an indication of how much water you should drink with it. Take this very seriously because as the fiber goes in, it's going to start absorbing water. What we don't want to have is a clump of fiber supplement stuck in the esophagus, absorbing water and creating a blockage, or farther down in the GI tract. So we want to make sure that you have as much water as you can. Make sure that you follow the guidelines on the label for whatever fiber supplement that you choose to use. And again, adequate intake of fruits and vegetables reduces or eliminates the need for fiber supplements. So these are just some important aspects of how the gut protects us. Remember, we have the membrane that only allows certain materials to pass through. We have the bacteria that actually help to protect us and break down different things and make vitamins for us. And they also prevent not helpful bacteria from taking up residence in the gut and creating problems. And we have the action of fiber to help move things through. This can also impact hormone activity. We talked about how the gut helps to regulate hormone levels. I've linked a couple of papers talking about the different immunity and the relationship of hormones in the gut. I'm going to be putting together an entire class about detoxification. So above and beyond what I've been going over the individual organs and tissues. And it's going to talk about practical information, how you can actually support your body's own natural detoxification processes. So when I finished it, I will put an announcement on this channel so you can check it out.